in here? You still let Katie? You know she boils her chicken, right? Why do you let Katie in here still?
Are you gonna eat again?
No salt.
That's pretty fucking gross.
That work? All right. Grayad, if you want to talk about it while I'm trying to get this all set up and going.
She's got a bar, red bar.
Or not, I guess. Oh, there you are.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Is there too much feedback? I can get off if there's too much feedback.
No, you're okay.
Okay. I just don't know what to do about today, y'all. Like, I work in healthcare. I work in mental health. I'm an occupational therapist, so like I work with some of the most, like this bill is literally going to directly impact my clients, and I feel so helpless right now. And
Yeah. Insurance rates are going to go up as well too, so it's going to be.
What was it that I caught a crawl on my local TV station here that was saying something about Trump is going to make it to where people cannot enroll in the healthcare.gov, like can't enroll in Obamacare. Was there any specific thing that you heard about that?
I have not. Have you, Tommy?
I need to look that up. Because I just remembered that. I saw that last night and I never looked into it today. I've been super busy.
Well, a lot of people are going to die, unfortunately, because of this. So.
Oh, it doesn't auto renew. Okay, thanks, yodeling. It's not to where it doesn't auto renew. That's so stupid.
Okay, I gotta stop that. I'm just gonna do it this way.
Supporter 1, quit chirping and get in the box.
All right. Grey-eyed, your audio is not very good, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I don't know if you want to drop down. I'm not sure if you're out.
Looks like she's in a Coke can.
By the way, we're not that far from monetizing over on YouTube.
Nice.
I don't think...
The OK High channel?
Yeah, it's actually moving along pretty quick.
Nice.
Yeah, we already have almost 1,000 hours out of the 4 I need. All right, let this person in. This is going to be fun. I got that idea. Great, I'd appreciate you for coming up. Sorry, just the audio wasn't that great. I got the mute. Hello. Hello, supporter, you're live. Hello.
Yeah, guys, how's it going?
What's going on? What is happening? What's your take?
We all proud of Trump today?
Why would we be proud of Trump?
The bill passed. Let's go.
What was in the bill that was good?
Everything.
Name
Border
something.
security, money for prisons.
I actually have a question for that.
$10
It wasn't
billion
for prisons.
forward.
It wasn't for prisons. It was detention centers. But I just want to point out that one, they sabotaged the initial border deal. But two, I'm really confused about this, and this is a really big point of contention for me. Donald Trump's policies stopped people at the border when he came into office. That's what I was told on this channel. That's what I was told by Republicans endlessly. So why do we now need the wall?
The wall's going up. Better protection.
I'm asking you why we now need the wall if he lowered the border amount of people at the border that significantly.
Because he's going to be gone in a few years, and we got to make sure that it stays this way.
But why do we need it? Wouldn't we just mirror his policies? Why would we need to build a wall?
Problem is his policies aren't going to get mirrored, and then if we get Dems in again, then it's going to be...
What? Okay, so that's the good question.
2.0, so
that's the good question. That's the good question. What are the policies?
What policy? There's no policy. Why is that funny? We don't need a policy.
Your argument is that Democrats would upend said border policy, and now it's that there is no policy.
No,
that
I'm
they would
not
have to
saying
upend.
a policy. It would end up just destroying what he's put in place by protecting border security. I never mentioned a policy.
Right. So I'm asking what policies that he put in place that the Democrats would somehow undermine.
They would just do what they did when Biden was in power and just let everyone in.
I'm not asking what Biden did when he was in power. I'm asking what Trump did as a policy.
$350 billion going towards border security. National
No, it's not
security.
350 billion. I'm asking you. The question was track
How
the
much is it
argument
then?
here. Track the argument here. Before he got funding for this wall, which by the way won't even be completed probably until the end of his time in office, if not after. Okay.
Okay.
I was told that his policies are stopping people from coming here currently without the wall
Correct,
being
they
there.
are.
Right. So what are those policies that the Democrats would undermine?
They would again open the floodgates.
I don't know what that means. What policy? What did he do at the
There
border?
doesn't again. You're so caught on policy. There doesn't have to be a policy.
There
They just
does
don't
have to
if
be
they
a
don't
policy.
enforce
So a
border
policy is
security-
this. Hold on a second. A policy is this. A policy is we're doing this. And then they do that.
If they don't enforce border security, then people are going to come in.
Who was
Why
not enforcing border security? Biden apprehended more people at the border than any president in American history.
You can't make that argument after you let more in.
He didn't let more in. We had
can't
more
cause a
people
problem and then have a
Hold on a
solution.
second. Hold on a second. We have more people apprehended under Biden than at any point under Trump.
Okay.
So,
And
right. So
he also had more people come in.
right. People come
can
in.
admit to
He's not
that.
in control of that. What do you think? He calls them on the phone and is like,
He is in
hey, you
control of
want to
that.
come across?
It's called doing your job and protecting the border.
So they did do their job. They apprehended
didn't, 'cause they
more
let they
people.
let so many
Excuse
people
me,
in.
I'm
Record numbers
talking. I'm
in.
talking. You cannot say that he was not doing his job, but also that he apprehended more people at the border than any president in American history.
You're not listening.
I am listening. You're just not making any sense.
Yeah, again, if his job was to protect the border and he couldn't do it, let too many people
Like
in.
I said, he
therefore
did not
failed.
let anyone in. He apprehended more people at the border than any president in American
Okay,
history.
he failed to stop them.
He
There you go.
cannot, right? He cannot control the amount of people that come
He
here.
failed to stop them.
Cool. Then they should have signed off on the border bill, right? The Republicans should
Nope.
have. Why
The border
not?
bill had $60 billion going to Ukraine, and we shouldn't even send one penny to Ukraine.
The
Wait,
Republicans,
wait,
hold
time.
on. No, hold on. The Republicans ended up signing off on that.
Yeah,
The
I know. they
Republicans
shouldn't have.
signed, right? They did. So it wasn't
Yeah.
about the war in Ukraine. So that does not have to do with it.
Wait, just real
Oh,
quick.
the issue with
Why?
that bipartisan bill. Go ahead.
Why
Jamie,
is
go
it a bad thing to tie border security to fund to Ukraine in that instance? But here, when we're talking about cuts to SNAP and Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and the border protections, somehow that's okay as it relates to Big Beautiful Bill.
Because we don't need to send one single dollar to Ukraine. We
They-
shouldn't have done it.
That's
But that's not
the
the argument. It's that we shouldn't have these multi-faceted bills, right? Why is it okay when it relates to this? They signed off on aid to Ukraine. Trump is
I
still
didn't
funding
say it's not
Ukraine.
wrong to have a multifaceted bill.
You're
I
saying
never
that it
said
shouldn't have passed because of the aid to Ukraine tied to it.
Correct.
Right. Why is that, which they signed off on, a bad policy versus gutting people off of Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, and all the other things I listed?
Because it has no comparison.
The comparison is that more Americans are harmed with this one than they were in the other one. And yet you're saying that the other one was a bad policy.
It was a bad policy.
Why? Explain how many more
Even
people
though,
would have
okay,
been kicked
well,
off healthcare with that
let's leave
policy
the Ukraine thing
versus
aside
this one.
then. The bipartisan bill itself was also terrible.
So
It was
why?
going to
What was in
allow
it?
20 million people that had to come in and just get status. That's ridiculous. Why are we giving
So
them an
that's not
amnesty
what
for
would
breaking the
happen.
law in the first place? It should be
That's
deported
not
for
what
breaking the law, cutting
That's
the
not in
line.
That's
in
not
the
what was in
bill.
Langford's border bill.
By the way,
It was going to give them pathway to citizenship,
this was
correct?
by the
No.
way, it was a bipartisan bill. I just want to point that out. And the Republicans were
And it
gonna
was going to
sign
give
off.
it was going to
Wrong.
give the
No,
undocumented
stop
immigrants-
saying that. You are wrong. Amnesty was not a part of that agreement, especially not to the tune of 20 million people.
Actually
It was going to
lowered-
give them pathway to citizenship, correct?
No, stop
No.
saying that.
It's not in the bill.
So what was the bill doing then?
It was giving money to the border. through hiring people, through smart border technology. The list goes on. It actually reduced the amount of people that could come in for amnesty.
And
what?
And hire lots of judges to process people, correct?
That's not amnesty. Did you know that?
Okay, but
you don't want more judges at the border to process these cases?
You're going to allow undocumented immigrants to get status for breaking the law in the first place.
You're aware,
asylum seekers.
1 second. You're aware that right now,
and
Trump
it was going to
trying...
it was going to make it easier for them to come in under asylum, which shouldn't be the case at all.
No, he wouldn't actually. It would have included provisions for expediting asylum claims, but stricter requirements to do so, and higher evidentiary standards.
I just want to point out really quick that the Trump administration just signed off on yesterday the National Guard becoming judges in immigration cases, so that argument doesn't work either. This is not going well for you at all.
What's wrong with the national judge becoming an immigration judge?
You just said that was a problem.
I didn't. What?
Yes, you did. You said it was a problem that we added more judges to facilitate these cases at the border.
No, I said in that bipartisan bill.
Which added more judges to the border, right?
Here's the difference, okay? Now with the National Guard, they're going to be deporting them quickly. It's instead of with Biden with the bipartisan bill, they were going to start letting them and giving them status. That's the difference.
No, it wouldn't. I don't know where you keep getting that claim. It's not a part of it whatsoever.
They were going to make it easier for them to get status.
No, where is that in the bill?
Show me where.
Where is that in the bill, bro? You're just like grasping at straws here. It's okay to say that this was a bad move. Like, here's the problem, right? Is that you're living in this really quick. You live in this world where nobody
stole $14 billion from the Medicare.
Cool. You live in a world where your facts don't match reality because you've been lied to and you've been manipulated. And you believe this, even though it's not in the bill. And now you're trying to find justification for why Trump did not sign off on the bill. The answer...
Can you stop blowing?
The answer...
I'm not blowing, it's just windy.
The answer is that Trump told them not to sign off on that bill because it would make Biden look good. That's why they didn't do it. Period. Didn't he say that? Didn't he say as much? I thought he said that.
Yes, he said, blame me.
Yeah. And no, it was another senator said that. Another senator said that. Yeah, where they said it was Trump's fault, that he didn't want to credit. I can't remember which one it was. The guy's face. South Dakota? Something like that. Where'd he go? The wind blow more?
Just looking at the bill, 1 sec.
Oh, he's looking. Okay. We are just waiting. We're just chilling. How's everybody's day going?
I'm doing all right. I've been busy with an art project.
No, that's fun.
Yeah,
We're just taking a little intermezzo right now.
Yeah, got an art kit from 1982. It's a Muppet thing, and so I just unboxed it and put it all together and painted it, and it looks nice.
Nice. That's fun. I don't really have that much going on today, so.
Yeah. Thought I'd go out again tonight, but screw that. I've been too busy. I need to stay in.
Supporter, are you back? Why did he beg to come in here?
So he can get his ass whooped.
Mm.
Oh, I'm about
it was Mitt Romney said it, but I think it was Senator Langford said it too.
Yeah, it was Romney.
It was Romney and Langford, I think, both said it. But yeah, he killed the border bill. And the reason for it was that they didn't want Biden to get any credit for it. That's it. That's the reason they killed him. And now we're going to put a bunch of money in a fucking... You know what's so crazy?
Yeah,
we're going to spend $50 billion on a wall that's going to be dilapidated. Why? Because...
So here's the difference. So that bipartisan bill, like I said, was going to allow undocumented immigrants to apply for citizenship and status. And
Wait,
what we're doing differently with the National Guard is we're not allowing them to apply for status. They're going to go in front of an immigration judge and they're going to be deported 15 minutes later.
Now, you're speaking fast so you can get out of the fact that you just lied to us because it's not what your claim was. Was it?
No,
Okay, why the fuck are you changing your argument now?
I'm not changing the argument, but
Yes,
that was
you
the premise
are.
of what I was trying to say.
No, it's not. You said a completely different story here, that we were giving them 20 million people legal status. It's not what you just read.
Okay, sorry, I worded that wrong. There's 20
You
million
didn't word it
people,
wrong. That's a
20
completely
million
separate
undocumented
argument.
immigrants, and now they're going to get the opportunity to get status. But the difference
Why is
between
that
the
bad?
National Guard with Trump is they're going to go in front of an immigration judge and they're going to be deported 15 minutes later. There's the difference.
They're
Can we
not
get the
judges.
mods in the mod chat? Katie specifically. Sorry, go ahead.
They aren't judges, nor should you want a system in which unqualified individuals are presiding over thousands of cases. Just because you want people out of the country as fast as possible doesn't mean that should be the right course of action. They're still owed a legal process. They are still owed representation.
I personally
wanting
don't
it to
believe
be
they're
the
owed
cheapest and fastest way possible. They are, because there's citizens caught up in this too. Law-abiding.
If you're not a citizen,
People
I
as
personally
well.
don't believe you're entitled to anything.
Trump doesn't. He wants to get rid of citizens now.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He said it yesterday.
No,
We're looking at the
birthright
homegrowns.
citizenship. You know what they're talking about? They're talking
We are
about people
talking
who
about
come here
US
undocumented,
citizens. He
have a
said that
kid, and then that kid is born in the country. That,
No.
And then the kid's gonna stay here? No, the kid gets deported
No,
with the
he
family.
specified that there are some people in this country who commit crimes too, and we're looking at a way to get rid of them as well. That was his word.
Depends how heinous the crime.
Children have been expedited out of this country. What crime did they commit? Having
If
cancer?
their parents came here and had them. And their
What is
parents
the
were
crime that a
undocumented.
child committed?
Their parents made a bad decision. Their parents
That's not what I
shouldn't have done
asked.
Their
What is
parents are
the
to blame.
crime that the child committed?
that. Nothing. And it's unfortunate, but it's
Right.
not the
So
child's fault.
U.S.
It's the parents'
citizen
fault.
children,
It's
U.S.
the parents'
citizen,
fault.
why should they bear the brunt of that?
He's railroading right now.
Well, the parents should be thrown in jail personally for child neglect and
what?
child abuse. but
That's not
just my
neglect. You
opinion.
don't know the quality of their care that they're being given.
That is
just because they're
abuse.
here illegally. That's not abusive.
You
I'd say
came here
the
and had a
abusive
child.
part,
You
the
came here
abusive part
illegally
is
and had a kid.
separating them from their
If you wanted
children.
a
All
nice-
right. You gotta stop, dude. You're talking too much. We gotta calm you
I'll
down.
slow it down.
You gotta stop.
The abusive part is separating them from their families, is getting rid of the quality of care that they'd get in the United States when they're suffering from cancer. You don't think that's abusive?
Okay, in the case of the child's having a treatment like that, yeah, the child should stay. But I'm saying in terms of just like an everyday child and their family decides to come here, have the kid, I'm sorry, you're going to be deported with the family. That's it.
That's not abusive, though.
Well, it's the child. The parents screwed up. The parents
And
shouldn't
why?
have come here. The parents should have come
Okay.
here the correct way and had a kid. Why did they do it undocumented
Do you
and have a kid?
know how much more expensive and how much more traumatic it is to go through that process as opposed to offering
And that's
amnesty?
not a reason to claim asylum.
But why shouldn't they claim amnesty?
Why should they claim amnesty?
Why shouldn't they?
Because you can't claim. Unfortunately, I would love it if you could claim asylum for economic reasons, but you can't.
I didn't say asylum, I said amnesty. Why is that not the solution? The vast majority of these people, especially those with children, did not commit any heinous crimes. They're not fleeing any kind of prosecution in their country of origin. They're just here to live and take care of their family and support some kind of better way of life. You want to get rid of them for some reason.
And I'll tell you why. Because there's
Tell
6
me.
billion people in their exact same position, and we can't let all 6 billion people in the country. It
I
wouldn't
didn't
work.
say anything about all 6 billion people.
But
Well, what the hell, 6
You
billion
make an
people? They're
exception
not
for
in the
one, you have
United
to make an
States.
exception for all.
There's not 6 billion people trying to come
Make
to
an
the United
exception
States.
for one, you have to make an exception for all, Jay.
I'm making the exception for those who did not commit a crime. And it's not 6 billion people.
6
I don't know
billion
where you
people
got
didn't
that
commit a
number.
crime and they didn't choose to live in poverty, but
6
they are. It
billion
sucks.
people don't even live in the United States.
I know, but if they all came here, you'd all say let them stay. Because
I'm
they're here.
talking about people. Yes, I'm talking about people who have been
So
law-abiding,
if
who have
6
paid
billion
their
people came
taxes,
here, you would say
who
let them
have
stay.
raised children. There's not 6 billion people coming here.
I'm just saying, there's 6 billion people living in poverty, so we need to use that analogy. That if
There's
6
not
billion people
6. Stop with this 6 billion number. What the
All
fuck
right,
are you
this is
talking
getting
about?
out of hand. All right, dude, you gotta stop, man. You just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks, and it's getting frustratingly bad. So, cool. You gotta stop, because you're just throwing everything that you have said is just bullshit. Like, this is really what this is. This is a frantic, fanatical want to maintain your fucking belief system here. That's really what's going on.
It's not a want to make. Live, dude. I'm not trying to maintain a belief system. I'm trying to keep an
nothing
open
you've
mind.
right, but
No,
nothing
you're
you
not.
said. No. You keep changing your argument.
I'm not changing my argument. The main thing is I'm saying the two differences between the bipartisan bill and the other thing was that we're going to have them removed. That's it. That's the difference.
Not to move on. From
You guys want them to stay.
the difference we're gonna have
Right?
them removed.
I don't.
know what that.
That's the
I don't know
difference.
what that means. What do you mean get them removed? I don't know what that means. That doesn't require us to write a bill to do that. Nutcracker
Yes, it
paid
is,
to kick
because
though. I'm gonna go
otherwise it
ahead
can't
and
be done
I'm
in a
gonna go
timely
ahead and
fashion.
yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Go ahead.
Nutcracker, appreciate it for the 30. Thank you. Can we get some
Good
dubs and
Lord.
drumsticks in the chat for Nutcracker? Nutcracker paid to kick. We do have a kick pool. If you guys want to support the channel, there's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. You can also, over on YouTube, send supers, at least the full YouTube. Ooh, not the short side yet. That's going to be monetized here shortly. But over on the other one, you guys can do that. Would appreciate it. Corey, appreciate it. Thank you. And by the way, if you send for the kick pool, if it's 30, I'll know. But if you guys are just wanting to be part of the kick pool, so when we hit 30, we eat them, you can send over and just say it's part of the kick pool, and I'll write it down. And then when we hit 30, yeet. Corey, appreciate it for the 5 gifted. Thank you. Tia, appreciate it as well for the 10 gifted. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Tia, for Corey, and for Nutcracker? Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
I didn't know that
Good.
75% of the Earth
The world
was in poverty.
was in poverty. I mean, that's a
News
pretty
to
high
me.
poverty line, you know what I mean?
We should probably do something about that. I don't know.
This sounds pretty wrong. Did you know? So this is, I've talked about this before. This is true that there's a, this is 100% true that I was driving and I was listening to the radio, and they had the Oxfam report. I was driving off to college. It was a really long drive in the middle of the night, so I was listening to it. 83 people had more wealth than the bottom 3.5 billion people. This is in like the early 2010s, right? 83 people. The next year, I heard the same report, incidentally enough, driving to college, and it was updated. 21. It would not surprise me if it's 1 now. And that's the distribution of wealth. But you got, 6 billion people in poverty. You should probably do something about that, you know? That's a pretty crazy deal there.
Apparently, the actual global poverty rate is about 8.5. 75, 8.5, they're neck and neck to each other.
All right. Drew, appreciate it for the 5. Thank you. If a train leaves the station at 63 miles per hour. Wait, didn't you already say this one? We laughed about it and it cut off. I'll read it again though. If train A leaves the station, because the live went down. If train A leaves the station at 63 miles per hour and train B leaves station at 27 kilometers per hour, what's the circumference of your mom's ass? I swear we're children. Anyway, if you're debating, stay in the box. This guy was up next. I don't know if he's still here. Give me 1 second. I got the mute button. Dude.
As a physician, there was some...
He's watching a movie. Okay, well, when you're ready to debate, hop back in. I'll prioritize you since, I gotta clear this up a little bit. This is kind of... 1 second. If you're debating, hop on in the request. If you're not, please hop out. By the way, I'm sorry. This is going to be a bit of a short live. I have some stuff to do that I have to do. So about 8, I'll head out. So.
All right.
Did he rejoin? Okay, he didn't rejoin. Let someone else in. I have the mute. B, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing all right. What's going on? What's your take?
Well, I think that last guy was not a good representation of what
Clearly.
people are thinking on the right wing side of the thing. So I will say, if when you guys were talking, and then about the wall and kind of making fun of him about it, I thought that's kind of what really had hurt you guys during this last election is that almost superiority, that if you don't believe what I believe, then you're not as smart as me.
Let me see. Jewish people who don't vote for me need their heads examined. Who said that? Was that Harris or was that Trump?
Am I trying to defend everything that the man says? No, I'm just saying.
This is minimization, by the way. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want to point this out really quick. Hold on a second. I want to point this out. There is varying degrees of different examination, like what people believe among the left, just to point that out. But there are things that are non-starters, things that we will not tolerate, and that's a difference, right? Where Republicans will build coalitions of people that have varying degrees of whatever, and they will accept those people, right? So, for instance, it's not a problem for the Republicans on any level that white nationalists are voting for them, or that white supremacists are voting
let's
for
stop
them.
right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there are two trains of thought. There's globalism, and is nationalism.
Globalism, really quick, globalism, I just want to point out, because that is equivocation. Globalism is not a defined term that's used very non-distinctly. So if you could characterize that for me, I would appreciate it.
Is somebody, well, what is the opposite of a nationalist? A globalist?
An internationalist.
Is a what?
Internationalist.
Okay, so we'll say an internationalist. Okay. But if I am somebody that believes my nation first, and I happen to be Caucasian, you then throw me into a term white nationalist.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. What the fuck? No, that's not even close to reality. Here's the thing, right? In the United States,
is reality. That's what you guys do.
Stop. You're not even close to what that means.
Okay, well then give me the definition.
I want to point this out. I want to point this out really quick. I just want to point this out really quick. Is that in the United States, right? We have varying different states, and there's federal funds dispersed to all of these states. Okay, we have never had the thought that we should dissect that, and that we should go individually as a state, right? Obviously, people may be prideful of where they are, but I don't view my state's needs as more beneficial than any other state's needs, right? Just that our needs are being met. So on the international level, you can think of it as a similar thing. If my state was manipulating and my state was diminishing the hardship that another state was going through, that would be wrong. Same thing with the international level. That's the problem with nationalism, is that we're viewing the United States it's not, well, we want the United States to do well. It's we want the United States to do well at the detriment of other countries. So when we're talking about international,
where's the detriment to other countries? Why
would nationalism be important if it wasn't detrimental to other countries, right?
Why would I say that I want the best for my country? That's what I want.
Right, I understand that, and nobody is saying that. The problem is that nationalism equates frequently to undermining, marginalizing, and destroying other nations.
And no, it doesn't. Where do you see that?
Literally all the time. 7 million people
all the time.
A year die. I'm going to give you a bunch of examples. I'll give you a ton of examples. I'll give you a ton of examples.
Just one.
Cool. All right, awesome. I can give you, for instance, USAID getting cut. Right?
Okay, and how that affect? I mean,
but I did give you one, USAID being cut.
Okay,
that
so
is
how did that affect
soft power. I can give you a bunch. We do think. Hold on, I'm not even done. You think about Central America, banana republics in South America. You think about the manipulation that the United States. That's fine. The United States has definitely, they've definitely gone after they've definitely. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. You just making it up. I mean, you're not any better than the last guy.
Imperialism. Bro, you're getting stomped out right here. And you're sitting there, maybe I'm trying to teach you something. And what's happening is, all right, this is what's happening. You asked me for an example. I gave you an example. You look foolish. And now you're sitting here. You look foolish. Excuse me.
You don't know really what you're talking about.
I have a bunch of them, but you're steamrolling me so I can't talk. So we'll go ahead and mute you so I can give you a bunch. We have done... exploitation. There we go. Exploitation in the Congo. We have done exploitation through all of Africa. We have done exploitation through pretty much every country on this planet. Is there anyone that we haven't done it to? We frequently do it to countries that are in a tough spot, that instead, where we should be like, we'll build relations with you, we build exploitation. We do it all the time. We do it through the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Import-Export Bank. We do it through a lot of, although that, to be honest, is more fair, but we do it through a lot of things where we export or where we manipulate. And we do that for that reason, so that we can gain something over them. We do it all the time. Oh, we want to do this in our country. We want to pull out this resource. Okay, here's some money, but also you have to privatize everything. You have to do austerity cuts. You have to take away social programs. You have to take away ownership and public ownership. And if you default on these loans, we're going to own X, Y, and Z. That is what happens when you have this degree. And there is overlap, because technically that is neoliberalism, right? Which is an economic theory. But it is frequently used by Republicans to exert dominance over a country. And we're watching it happen now. We watched it happen in the invasion in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Okay, can I speak?
Was that enough examples for you, though, first, before we move on?
Well, that was about the biggest word salad I've heard since Kamala.
And so he didn't listen.
You didn't listen. Can you tell me anything I just said?
Yeah, you said that there's exploitation in the Congo, and I asked, and then you muted me. What is the exploitation in the Congo?
Cobalt.
What is huh? I mean,
Cobalt.
and what's your source?
What do you mean? I need a source. You don't know? Okay, I'll pull it up for you.
The exploitation, because of America, from our nationalist view, is exploiting the Congo.
No, I said it frequently does. But
What?
here's the difference, though. And to
okay.
point this out,
This guy's a tool, man.
so you asked me for an example. I gave you an example.
And that wasn't
You're now
really
like saying
an
you're
example.
now
I wanna
saying
know
no,
about
that's
the
not a
Congo.
good
Please
enough.
tell
I'm
me.
talking. I'm talking. You're saying no, that's not a good enough example. They have to exploit them all the time.
Well, just tell me what they're doing in the
Here
Congo.
you go. 1 second. Here's a report including a 2022 U.S. congressional hearing that highlighted child labor and illegal practices in some mines, raising the concerns about whether U.S. firms indirectly perpetuate exploitative conditions by failing to enforce ethical sourcing.
Where's
These
that
point to
dun,
companies such as Apple, Tesla, and Intel that rely on the Congolese minerals for supply chains.
So that was during.
God,
you are such a bigot. Okay.
No, admit you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. I mean, you can't say anything. You
Were
try
you?
to.
He pointed out. You talked about U.S. exploitation in other countries. I pointed to the Congo. I talked about cobalt. Jaden gave you the source. There's nothing left to talk about. You were wrong. Period. I don't know.
I'm wrong. That's what you guys love to do.
The
You're wrong
Freudian
if you don't agree
defense
with me.
mechanisms go away. The Freudian defense mechanisms are crazy Freudian defense mechanisms. Here's the thing about nationalism that I was trying to get out near the end there, is that frequently nationalism is a more direct form of exploitation. It is not the only form of exploitation, but it is a more direct form where you are not doing this for benefit, but rather doing it to demonize and also to gain value, right? To imperialize. It's not just about moving money around in manipulative ways and targeting countries through the IMF and the World Bank or unfair trade policies. It's a more like, we're just going to take it. So when we see things like, we're just going to take Greenland or Panama or Canada or whatever other country, that is more in line with fascism. What Biden was doing and attempting to do was to move away from what's called neoliberalism, which is the practice of manipulating trade deals and financial systems to gain exploitative control over countries, because we know that it's kind of over for neoliberalism. Even though we haven't made that full step yet, China has taken what we did with neoliberalism, because these countries didn't have another option but the United States, and they've implanted their ability to give more to these countries than we ever could. Are these trade deals that they make 100% fair? Absolutely not. But they're more fair. And so those countries are taking advantage of that and undercutting the United States. And Trump doesn't understand it because he's an idiot, and we're inevitably going to suffer for it. Anyway. I gotta get this cleaned up a little bit. Where are we at here?
The USAID cuts alone. The Lancet just recently did published research that stated that there's going to be 14 million additional deaths by 2030. What was the number for children? It was ridiculous. Yeah, more than 4.5 million children under the age of 5. So,
All right, we got
and
this
that's considered wasteful spending according to Trump.
I don't know where Josh went, or if Josh is watching. I have to have a conversation with Josh. Hello, what's going on? What's your take?
So my take, I'm all over the place. You guys quick thinkers, because you appear to be really brilliant, all of you. Can you keep
What?
up with me? I said, you guys all think you're brilliant. You
That's not
I
what you
gonna be
don't.
said.
able to keep up with me?
I
Well,
don't
you're
think
laughing
that
at
I'm.
people. You're laughing at your
I don't think
guesses, so
that
I
I'm.
did think it's kind of.
Hold on a second. Pause really quick. First things first. Put the hot dog and the cigarette down. Second thing, we're not laughing at the guest. He was laughing at us, which is why I kicked him out of the live.
Okay. So let me ask you, for starters, you guys, if you see a flag flying at a business or a residence there, you guys, what do you attach that to?
I
Trump or
personally
Biden?
climb that pole and I burn it.
Really?
I don't give a shit. Bro, I don't care. What the fuck
No,
question is this?
no. Stay with me, Smarty. Do you
Smarty?
attach that
I
to
don't attach it to any
Biden?
president. No, I don't attach it to any
You don't
president.
attach that to Trump.
No, why the fuck would I?
I think for the last 10, 11 years, the flag has been attached to Trump. And
No, it
I think
hasn't.
that in itself
What?
is very interesting. But
What does that
let's
even
move on.
mean?
Let's move on.
No, what?
Ponder that.
No, why?
that.
Why even bring that up if you don't want to talk about it?
Because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. So what the
Can
guy
we at
was
least
talking
respond to that?
about, no,
Or are you just
let's
going to barrel through the conversation? Is this how this is going to play
No, I
out? Is
just
you're just going to
wanted-
raise
I
a
just
subject
wanted-
and then none of us are going to be able to
No,
respond to it?
No, I respect you guys so
you don't.
far. And so
No, I mean, like,
you guys
elaborate
were-
on that. What do you mean that the flag is synonymous with Trump?
I don't have time to explain it to you. Let's
Yes,
move
you
to a
do.
simpler.
What
Let's
Fine.
Listen.
All
let's-
right, listen,
Let me
big
just start
boy.
by one easy topic for you that I think the other guy
I
couldn't
thought that was the
articulate.
easiest.
Yeah. So when you guys were talking about illegals coming in, right? Everyone, I think the majority. I live in Chicago. The majority of the people I know, including myself, somewhere along the line, was an immigrant, right? The problem that I have, and I think the majority and or Trumpers do, is you have to get in line. You have to go the right way. So the other case, like a younger kid, and Jaden, you were hammering him, and you guys were giggle snort hotel on the
You're
poor
welcome.
kid. What I think the issue was he was trying to articulate was, or at least my position is very simple. It's fine to come in the country, get in line, do things the right way. Biden kicked the door down. You guys could debate that all the fuck. We could talk about it all night about he didn't or he did. 20 million people came in the country. There you
No,
go.
they didn't.
No,
No, they did
How many
not.
people
Stop.
did?
Stop
many?
repeating the lie.
many
I'm
people
so
did?
sick of that
How many
fucking
people
term.
did? You got
It
a
wasn't
potty
anywhere
mouth
near
for a
20
woman.
million. It wasn't
Disgusting.
anywhere near 20 million.
Okay, well, let's say 5. Let's say 2 million. Do we agree on 2? 2's too much. 2's too much. Why?
Actually, it's too
Because
little.
they
I'd say
really,
it's too little.
I also work with one of my businesses I've had 35 years. I employ all Mexican people, have the utmost respect for Mexican people, hardworking. At least my people are family people. However, they're out of some of those people, dude, there was 25,000 documented people from China. What are those people doing here? So here, to just open the door, my point is, and if you want to just
Yo,
kick the
stop.
door and
No,
2 minutes
shut
back
up.
off,
I'm actually done with this steamrolling and the barreling. Can we actually have a conversation instead of this diatribe going on?
Yeah, you're yapping. I kind of zoned out there for a second, so.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to talk about? Let's keep on track. You want to stay on that? Could you guys handle that one? You
Well,
guys
if you
want
want to
more than
talk
2
the
million
border,
people
we
in?
have to have a back and forth. But if you're just going to
All right. I'm
steamroll
sorry.
through the conversation, then we cannot have a
Go
dialogue.
ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Never
Okay.
mind.
I'd say even 2 million isn't enough, given the declining birth rates, given the fact that we have a nearly 8 million person labor shortage. I'd say the labor is certainly needed. I'd say that much economic input is needed. Migrants bring down deficits. Annually, they reduce our deficits by nearly $1 trillion. They also add to our GDP. They keep systems afloat that they cannot contribute from, such as Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, by paying into them, which they cannot. What the fuck, he left?
No, I
Yeah.
kicked him. Corey, appreciate the 30 over on YouTube. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat? Corey, can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Corey? Corey with the 30 for the kick. I got to bring back Tony Polisi. That reminds me, because of that guy. I got to bring back Tony
Why didn't
Polisi.
you stop me?
Gotta find your
Stop me from
badge.
what?
If I could point out real
talking.
quick, there were
Oh, I just
11,
wanted
at
to,
least
I
around.
want to cut you off.
Okay.
There was around 11 to 12 million undocumented migrants during the entire Trump presidency, first time, and you guys said nothing. So I'm just so damn sick of them repeating the lies that Trump tells about immigration. He had to say that so that you guys would think that that's who he's getting rid of now, is all the people that Biden let in. Biden didn't let anybody in. You damn
No,
morons. I'm so sick
It's
of
just
it.
it's just a talking point. He let him in. He didn't. He actually wanted to put more towards the border. He requested more for it. The Republicans wouldn't do it. You had a huge influx after COVID, and to be honest with you, in a lot of instances, we were hurting for workers because of COVID. I think it left 4 million people with long COVID symptoms. So this is a disabling event. But Corey, appreciate it. Thank you for the 30 again. Dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Corey. By the way, we got 19 subs on the night. If you guys want to support the channel, you can sub on any one of the platforms. If you sub over on TikTok, it is 2 subs for purposes of the sub goal because it's more expensive. If you guys want to head over to Patreon and the link tree in the bio and support over there, would appreciate it. I do post the playbacks there or tier 2 on YouTube. So there's that. But yeah, I would appreciate it. And also there's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. And again, we have a kick pool. Corey, appreciate you for kicking them out of here. And the kick pool is you just send a tip over, add it to the kick pool, and then eat them. If you guys are over on one of the regulars over on YouTube and you guys want to head over to the OK Hi YouTube, I will need some moderators over there, but I will have to have a conversation with you. So I really want it for people that are over here regularly. Get a couple and just have a conversation if you guys are willing. I know it's chaos over there, but I would appreciate it. So that'd be good. Gretchen, do you have Instagram? Reach out to me on Instagram. There. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Okay, hi. Okay, hi. I have videos going over there now. It's almost monetized. It's going to be nice. Going to be real nice. Okay, hi is almost monetized. There's news videos coming over there. And then News Dude is where I post debate clips and go live for the long form over there. We got Hot Rod Charlie.
All right.
Okay, he's not joining. We got Lug. Lug. I don't know what that's.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No problem, Lug. What's going on? What's your take?
Well, I would like to know the topic, but I am a Democrat and I do have issues.
With the Democrats? Or
You like you're a Trumper? Okay, explain to me what Trump has done.
I'm not a Trumper. We're looking for debates in here. We're opposite. We're looking for opposition.
Oh, I'm a Democrat. I'm sorry.
Democrats.
I guess you got to
No, you're
kick me
good.
down.
All right, take care. If you were debating, go ahead and hop on in the request. We're going to start the news up in just a second here. So there's that. Are you ready for the news, Jaden?
Give me a second.
Aye.
Did you guys hear while he's doing that? Did you guys hear that the Democrats actually tried to put forth an amendment that says, "Hey, we don't have to kick as many people off their health care if we can just tax people who make over $1 billion more, a little more," and the Republicans voted against it.
Gretchen,
It's just
sorry, go ahead.
no. Go ahead. I'm done.
Gretchen, don't mute anyone unless they violate CGV. That's pretty much it. So unless they violate CGV, don't do anything. I'll review them, make sure you're doing everything. But unless it's CGV related, be good.
Give me a second. I'm fidgeting with something in the living room.
Okay, you guys wanna? We got a debate here. That's a kid. You're not coming in here. If you're debating, hop on in the box. Would appreciate it. That'd be awesome. So, we got stuff to talk about in a second. Venmo. Oh, I'm sorry, Dennis. I'm sorry. I apologize that the Venmos are late. I'm trying to get as many people in here, so I'm kind of doing the sacrifice where I have to go and leave because I'm on my other phone on live. So when I can't see the notifications, it doesn't pop up. But if you guys want to support, Venmo Cash App in the bio. Dennis, appreciate it with the 10. Dennis, can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Dennis? Here you can get a new badge with handcuffs on Amazon for $10. I have the badge around here somewhere. I don't know where it is. Dennis, appreciate it. Thank you. I got the badge because you remember when Herschel Walker pulled out his badge? He's like, I'm a police officer. And so I bought it. And then later on, someone said in a live with us, I was like, hey, no tone policing. And they're like, what do you mean, Tony Policey? What's that? And so then we went with that. We're going to talk about the bill in just a second. I don't know where Josh went. He headed out. I'm all alone.
Just a second. Something fell behind my TV. I'm trying to reach for it. Yeah.
Get it. You can do it. You can do it. You can
Why do y'all
do
think they dance to YMCA? Why do y'all think they use YMCA
Because they're
so
gay.
much in the? I've been trying to come up with a clever acronym for what else YMCA could stand
back.
for these assholes, but like, it's so bizarre that that's what they're dancing to after they signed the bill today.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back while Jaden's getting ready.
Welcome back,
Sorry,
Josh.
my kid called. I like talking to her more than you guys, so I made it.
I don't blame you with that. What else was weird that I heard about today in the news? What was another weird? Oh, did you guys see the video of all of the electrical, poles down in Las Vegas?
The telephone poles?
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that. It was a freak storm that came through, I guess. Was it Vegas though?
it was Vegas.
Hmm.
Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate that. I'm contemplating a comeback to TikTok. I've been absent lately, but thanks, Johnny. What could have caused? I mean, I can understand a couple of them, but and how come no trees were affected? Like, didn't it look like somebody just? I know that they didn't because I mean, obviously that would have been people would have been talking about that, but it looked like as if somebody just took a chainsaw and went down each one, and because there weren't any hardly trees affected. What could have caused that? I wonder.
I don't know. We get some pretty bad windstorms here sometimes. Comes whipping through the mountains, so it's probably just like we had a haboob the other day. I told you guys about that.
Right.
It's a windstorm that's pushed by a storm. So the storm comes through and all the wind in front of it that's being pushed around it kicks up all that dirt and it just pushes a big huge wall of dirt. Dust. It's a dust storm. Anyway, did I miss anything? Did you guys get any debates?
Not. Just the same old. They're all the same people. They're essentially all the same. They all have the same warped sense of belief of what they think is political, and like none of them followed politics prior to Trump, and it's just wild.
All
They're
right, I
just
got
so
it.
misinformed.
1 second
What
before
the
we
heck is
start.
that?
We're gonna try this. This is a candy
What
eyeball.
is that?
I got for Baby K. I took him to the convenience store to get a candy, and I was like, all right, well, he saw this immediately. He's like, I was like, well, just check out the other candy, see if you want it. He's like, no. He goes and checks other stuff. Not with the other one. I was like, yeah, I know. So we're gonna try it on live. Can I open
What is
this
it?
thing?
All right.
It's supposedly sour, and then we'll do the news.
Was it like
Open.
like filled? It's like it's got like stuff inside it.
Yeah, he said he liked it, but he had one of them, then the second one he was kind of suspect on, and then he never asked about them again. So I think that answers that.
I should send you some Mexican candy.
Not a fan. Don't like the salt.
I
It's
love
not all
tamarind.
salt.
I love the mango and tamarind spoons. Those little spoons with the oh, that's some good stuff. I love that shit. So,
What is it? It looks
They're
like
not
an
good.
eyeball. What are you eating?
It is. Was.
Yeah.
It was an
Oh.
eyeball.
That's
yeah,
gross.
but is
What
it
is it?
Halloween
cake or
candy?
is it what?
Is it
No,
cake
it's
or
just
is it a
gummy
real
candy.
eyeball?
It's a gummy candy.
Yeah,
It's a gummy candy.
No,
I gotcha.
I didn't want to eat this. Honestly.
About 100 milligrams. Oops.
Oh my god. That's good. That's a good one. By the way, Josh, just so we can clarify before we get in the news here, I'm mostly getting all the debates down. Some of them are overlapping. So what I think I'll do is I'll upload them onto OK High as unlisted, so you can pull them off and put them back on. And then the original one, just change it to delete this. That way you could edit them and put it back on. I can add a thumbnail, everything like that.
All right. That could work.
Cool. I mean, some of the debates you've gotten I haven't got, but a lot of them are overlapping.
I don't know. I think you have to publish them for me to be able to pull them off of onto 4K. I think they have
Nope,
to
you
be
just take the
published.
link. No, they have to be they can be
okay.
unlisted. I think you just take them on
Okay.
the list and then put them on there.
All right.
Oh shit! It went up my nose. Hold on,
Ooh.
my nose is burning.
I used to snort that shit too.
Hold on.
You could say that on here.
I'll be right back. It's actually burning.
But I'm serious, guys. Go over to News Dude and go over. Well, I haven't done any on OK High yet. I've uploaded, but I haven't published any. But go over there. Tell me how if you like the editing on them. I'm curious, especially if you hate it. If you hate it, tell me. I'm actually just trying. This is a ploy to get people to go to watch the videos. But whatever. If you watch the videos, it makes me look better. Sharon, Cash App.
Yeah. Venmo Cash App in the bio. How's everybody doing?
Hold on a second.
Life is good, man. Having a 4th of July sale tomorrow. I
didn't
fucking
help.
hate the 4th of July. I don't think it's anything to celebrate, but I'm going to go take advantage of the sales tomorrow.
Oh, yeah? What are you selling?
Hell yeah. It's a dispensary.
Oh, okay. Good. We'll need it in
All
these
right.
trying times.
Let me get the news going. Make sure it's all clear here. I wish.
Thanks,
I
Dennis.
Wish I could put another monitor. I wish I could put another monitor on this desk. I just don't have the space. I might be able to if I can get rid of the. If I can go to TikTok Studio for the TikTok lives, but. All right, Jaden, you have the news for us?
That I do. Well, let's get down to it. Today is July 3rd. The House Republicans have finalized the big, beautiful bill. Trump has celebrated the bill's passing. Trump praised congressional GOP leaders today after the House approved his massive package of tax and federal spending cuts, delivering the president the first big legislative win of his second term. Its passage followed a fierce arm-twisting campaign by GOP leaders to unite a deeply divided party behind Trump's sweeping domestic agenda. The president is expected to sign his big, beautiful bill tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as he celebrates the 4th of July at the White House. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries broke the modern-day record for longest House floor speech, using his, quote, magic minute to speak for hours against the bill and drawing out debate on the package. In the bill, the multi-billion-dollar spending package is set to unlock tax cuts and funding boosts for national security, partly paid for by the largest cut in federal safety nets in decades. It includes cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP programs, Social Security, and others. Let's get into this, shall we?
Yes, we shall. First things first, Danielle, appreciate the sub over on TikTok. I wanted to talk about some of the provisions of this because this is major. So there's Medicaid restrictions that are going to affect smaller hospitals. That's the first thing. More rural hospitals. Medicare work requirements and eligibility. And it's going to remove 11.8 million people from healthcare over the next 10 years. I don't know how you could justify that as being anything remotely good. Next thing it does, it gives $45 billion to expand detention centers, $30 billion in funding for hiring and resources at the border, specifically for ICE. So largely speaking, not just Border Patrol. And also, incidentally enough, $46.5 billion for border wall construction, which is funny because apparently Trump was doing a really good job at stopping people at the border, which is making me confused as to why exactly they need a wall. It's a stupid $50 billion measure that we're just going to burn money on. It's not going to have any benefit. And when this is all said and done, we can finally say that Republicans and this idea was stupid and failed and didn't work. Because, yeah, let's be real. That's what's going to come up at the end of this. Is after it's all said and done, it doesn't make any changes. Yeah. It increases the state and local tax deductions from $10,000 to $40,000. It removes climate policies that were put in place by Biden under the Inflation Reduction Act, which was a major job creator in the United States. Those are going away. So this is going to affect jobs. They're very clearly, wrongfully going back to the days of fossil fuels, which is not the future. We really, really, really need green energy in this country. Other countries are vying for it, and if we're behind the ball, this is a national security issue. We're going to lose to them. That's just the reality. There's restrictions on food stamps. Again, food stamps is a job creator. They add in work requirements, and it's going to be detrimental to the food industry. So if your grocery bill starts going up, may go up a varying degree. We don't know how much money this is actually going to remove from the grocery industry. It raises the debt ceiling by $5 trillion and adds $4 trillion to the debt. Fiscally conservative. The child tax credit goes up by $200. It goes up by $200, which is pathetic. But that's less than what Biden and Harris were proposing. And finally, limits on overtime and tips deductions. So it's adding those in, so you can deduct those now. It's going to remove $1.2 trillion from Social Security and Medicare, or from Social Security, over the next 10 years, if it's implemented fully to W-2 employees. So we're going to have shortfalls in SSI. This is the long-term Republican plan, always has been. Make these programs defunded, make them not work, and then justify canceling them. And offering a replacement of going private. That's what they want to do. Jaden?
Yes, also increases in student loan monthly repayments. So it eliminates all 4 of the Biden administration's previous student loan repayment plans, offering student loan borrowers only 2 options for repaying. It's a standard plan and the repayment assistant plan. Ultimately, what it does is increases it to about $29,000 per year in student loan repayments under the RAP. And so essentially what we're doing is we have now saddled even more debt and even more interest into these people who are already struggling to the degree of some thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands even. Now it's even more in their monthly payments. Additionally, we're looking at egregious cuts to SNAP, which is expected right now to limit about 270,000 people, that's 250,000, off of the system in the next 3 years. That's a lot of people. It does away with food assistance for children aging out of foster care, for veterans and the homeless through this program. Basically, every vulnerable demographic is now under siege here, and that there isn't that degree of care that they promised would come for the most vulnerable in our society. They constantly said we need to take care of our own, but gutting Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP programs, and eliminating the previous student loan repayment plans does not do anything to help those people. In fact, makes their lives infinitely worse.
Josh? Josh or Sharon?
Yeah, I'm all right.
I just want to know how much more proof do
Felt.
people need to show that Trump isn't about America first? He doesn't care about putting people in America first. We're only just witnessing the de-brownification of America, and the people that are left are going to suffer greatly because of this.
And Planned Parenthood is defunded for a full year unless they can completely absolve themselves of abortion care, which already doesn't receive funds through Medicaid. So it's irrelevant to do so. It's effectively just an anti-abortion, pro-life push to get these clinics, many of them in rural districts in states, to position themselves in alignment with this idea. So people are going to be suffering from this. I argue that the maternal mortality rate and the infant mortality rate is likely to go up due to this lack of access to care.
Yeah, actually, I do have something to say. I don't know if the 700, 800 people in here are aware, but I live off Social Security disability insurance. I've paid into disability my entire life. Since I was 13 years old, I was paying taxes. I was paying into Social Security. At the age of 36, I actually had to collect on it because I got sick and disabled. I'm now quadriplegic. I live off Social Security disability insurance. This is going to greatly affect me. Thankfully, within my state, Katie Hobbs, hours after that was passed, the BBB was passed, she actually signed a law protecting Medicaid and Medicare within the state of Arizona. But that just because I'm going to be okay doesn't mean that people aren't going to be okay. People are going to starve. That's the end result is people are going to starve. They're affecting SNAP, they're taking it away, and then on top of that, they're attacking food banks. So the 4 million people who are starving and don't have enough to eat, they're going to turn to food banks. Well, unfortunately, those food banks have been defunded now, and those are, we have to rely on churches, I guess, and the goodness of people's hearts, so that way you can starve, and that always feels good, having to beg for food. I don't know. I don't get it.
I do. It is really interesting too that Republicans are now advocating for these cuts that are going to hurt people, but simultaneously complain through the entirety of the Biden administration about not being able to survive. And a lot of Republican areas are going to suffer as a result of this. Nutcracker, appreciate the 10 over there. I will read this off in a second.
It's in line with how they view FEMA, and we're approaching some of the most disastrous hurricane seasons on the books here. They want to gut that. They want to get rid of that. They want to get rid of any kind of social policy in the United States that benefits people who are in disparate conditions. For what reason? I truly don't understand. And then once all is said and done, they'll still find the way to blame the Democrats for this.
Yeah.
It's the poor people. Poor people are the reason why America isn't successful, y'all. The poorest of us who can't afford to eat, that's the reason why we can't afford things. That makes complete sense.
Yeah, it's not the billionaires that they gave. And by the way, this is absurd if you support this, because they gave $4 trillion. $4 trillion away in this bill. And you're going to sit there and complain about what's going to be a few $100 billion. Is absurd. Learn an order of magnitude. Figure out the difference between $1 trillion and $1 billion. This is bullshit. Someone's going to buy another yacht while another person is going to watch their child fucking starve. It's evil.
And that brings us to our next story here, actually, which I think is the most ironic part. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Southwest Nebraska Medical Center announces plans to close, blames uncertainty over funding. Curtis Medical Center in Curtis will shut down later this year. The uncertainty over federal Medicaid funding appears to have claimed its first victim in Nebraska. Community Hospital in McCook announced Wednesday that it would close Curtis Medical Center in Curtis, winding down its services over the next several months. It reads, unfortunately, the current financial environment, driven by anticipated federal budget cuts to Medicaid, has made it impossible for us to continue operating all of our services, many of which have faced significant financial challenges for years, Troy Bruntz, president and CEO of Community Hospital, said in a news release. The budget reconciliation bill that the House Republicans voted to approve on Thursday contains several provisions that experts say will slash Medicaid, which rural hospitals are more dependent on than urban counterparts. I would like to remind everyone that Curtis here, this area in which this is shutting down, had about a 75% difference in the amount of people that voted for Trump versus Harris. So he ran away with that, and it was one of the deepest, reddest districts that he claimed, cities that he's claimed, a small town of about 900 people. They're losing their community health center now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even though they voted for him, I'm still against it. I still want people in red counties, red states. I still want them to have health care. That's
Yep.
I know, which is the interesting thing that they're advocating against their own wishes, because ultimately this benefits my state, that we're not spending out as much money, and I'm upset about it for them, which is crazy. My state produces more money than we take in every single year. Jaden's does, and obviously we don't want people to suffer. People shouldn't suffer. It's not their fault that they're ignorant. It's not their fault that they don't know. Yeah.
Yep. And
it's capitalism's
unfortunately,
fault.
they're going to reap the outcomes of their vote here. And whether or not that'll change that next time around is uncertain. Many of them may very well die in the next 4 years, within the next 4 years. And it may be impossible to ever change the outcome from their states and districts. So that's the sad part. Next story here. Let's see what we got here. Despite promises of FEMA funds, Florida has so far received no federal money for alligator Alcatraz. In a new court filing, the Department of Homeland Security says Florida hasn't even applied for any federal funds. Despite assurances from both President Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis that federal money would be used to operate the controversial Everglades Immigrant Detention Center, the state has so far received no federal funds, according to court documents filed Thursday by the Department of Homeland Security. In filings in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, DHS officials said that the facility has relied only on state funding so far and that Florida has not yet applied for federal funding. Florida has received no federal funds, nor has it applied for any federal funds related to the temporary detention center. It reads, court cannot adjudicate hypothetical future funding decisions or render advisory opinions on contingent scenarios that never materialize. The filing was the agency's response to a lawsuit filed by two environmental groups asking that the facility be shuttered. DHS argued that it had no such authority because the department has not implemented, authorized, directed, or funded Florida's temporary detention center. So, in other words, looks like this badly underfunded, dilapidated, and what appears to be rushed form of prison is not up to par, is not stable, may very well not be stable. And they're rushing through this anyways.
Yeah, this is all, again, fascist optics. I talked about it yesterday. Yep. They're trying to say, like, oh, we're being big and strong, and look at what we're doing, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's alligator Auschwitz. Actually, it's not alligator Alcatraz. My question is,
call it like you see it.
What's gonna happen when a hurricane comes through?
Well,
like,
it's
that's
already
all
had
low
flooding.
lands.
That's the thing. It has already flooded this week.
Yeah.
And I think that wasn't there expected.
And during the hurricane last year, there was a lot of issues with the hospitals or with the jails flooding, right? Mm-hmm. That was a big deal then. Yeah. So it's very clearly a problem. Got the next story for us?
It's inhumane. Well, just real quick, I think that they know that they're going to subject people to things like pneumonia and freezing and whatever illness from the debris and mud comes from that. if they have an open wound or anything like that. I think they know that they're going to get sick in these conditions, and that's what they want. And it's disgusting and evil.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. I have two more stories here. Gaza aid contractor tells BBC he saw colleagues fire on hungry Palestinians. A former security contractor for Gaza's controversial new Israel and U.S.-backed aid distribution sites has told the BBC that he witnessed colleagues opening fire several times on hungry Palestinians who posed no threat, including with machine guns. On one occasion, he said a guard had opened fire from a watchtower with a machine gun because the group of women, children, and elderly people were moving too slowly away from the site. When asked to respond, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, or the GHF, said the allegations were categorically false. They referred to a statement saying that no civilians ever came under fire at the GHF distribution sites. GHF began its operation in Gaza at the end of May, distributing limited aid from several sites in southern and central Gaza that followed an 11-week total blockade of Gaza by Israel, which no food entered the territory. The system has been widely criticized by forcing vast numbers of people to walk through active combat zones to a handful of sites. Since the GHF started up, Israeli forces have killed more than 400 Palestinians trying to retrieve food aid from its sites, and the UN and local doctors say Israel says the new distribution system stops aid going to Hamas. Now, I think that the GHF is completely full of shit. I think we've seen before their inclination to distort facts of their acts of war and terror against people seeking aid. I mean, we saw a few weeks ago they blocked a ship with Greta Thunberg on it, delivering aid to them. They've done this before. They've done the double taps on civilian infrastructure buildings. They've bombed hospitals, et cetera, et cetera. And somehow or another, this isn't enough for people to understand that this is going on.
Yeah. And by the way, they praised Trump for getting a ceasefire deal, and it's over.
Yeah,
Lasted
already
like
over.
a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's already
So I
over.
don't really have that much to say. It's just sick. It's really insanely inhumane treatment, and yeah.
Yeah.
You got the last one for
I'm
us?
disgusted. Yep. This one is an interesting one that I saw today. Boxer Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been arrested by ICE and is set to be deported. The famed Mexican boxer Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was arrested for overstaying his visa and lying on a green card application and will be deported to Mexico, where he faces organized crime charges, federal officials said Thursday. The arrest comes only days after former middleweight champion lost a match on Saturday against influencer turned boxer Jake Paul. Excuse me. Let's hold that one back. That's that story.
Well, are you sure that Trump might want him in the administration? If he was white, he would.
It's true.
If he was white, he would. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see here. The Department of Homeland Security said that officials determined Chavez should be arrested June 27th, the day before the fight. It was unclear why they waited a day to act after the high-profile event. Reason why is because they have favoritism towards Jake Paul. They wanted him to win and then deport him.
That's actually that's insidious.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I don't really have that much to add to the story, but that's actually crazy. But I don't know. Surprised Trump didn't offer him a job. Does anybody have any other thoughts on that? Are we good on the news?
That's the news.
All right.
I just need to thank
do we have anybody in
Leanne for the
box?
Cash App. I appreciate you, Leanne.
Yeah.
Yeah, is this person debating? I don't think they're debating. I'm gonna read these off really quick. Get caught all up. Nutcracker, appreciate the 5. Thank you. Why does Trump dance to YMCA and Macho Man, but not in the Navy? Because he dodged the draft, so he can't relate to it. Appreciate the 5, Nutcracker. And Nutcracker, appreciate the other 5. Someone's eating chips. Well, I mean, this bill is the Republicans' death knell. They are cooked come midterms. Nutcracker, appreciate the 5, and appreciate it as well for the 10. Need to support more often. Thank you for fighting against fascism. that I'm learning about, because that's what the TA is trying to facilitate. Keep going. Get appreciated for the 10 over there. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat? I'm going to work on TTS this weekend. I don't know how I'm going to implement it yet because I don't know how it works, but I'm going to look up some stuff on it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, do we have anybody that wants to debate? If you're debating, hop on in the requests. Let me get this up over here really quick so that I don't have to do as much fucking work later.
Y'all heard that cutting people off of Snap will be done if they have internet. If they're too rich to have internet, well, by golly, they don't need no Snap benefits. Let's cut it off. Isn't that wild?
So I looked into that. What did it say? There's an inkling of truth to that, essentially, but that's not the full.
Oh, correct me, please. That's what I
Wait,
heard.
what happened?
Even V at Under the Desk News even reported that, so I
know.
held that to be true. So it's not. What is the? Deep,
Hold on, I was reading it. It was on the other phone, so I can't. I don't have. I looked it up on Grok. I figured Grok, like, if it's gonna be, if I'm gonna be lied to, Grok's gonna tell me that, right? And so I looked it up there, and I searched their resources, and it actually came back. I was like, all right, that makes sense. It's a little bit of truth. Hold on, let me pull it up.
So much stuff to do. So little time to do it. Dancing Spider, I don't think is debating. Oh man. Maybe we should have one puff piece. I think so too. That'd be a good idea. But the news is dreadful these days.
Oh yeah.
The news is not good these days.
Is there any good news these days?
Does anybody want to hop on in the requests? Anything like that? I have so much work to do. I got a ton of invitations to go do stuff this weekend, and I don't know. You guys got any plans for the 4th?
Nope.
No, hell no. Hold on.
I'm gonna see that movie Megan. Maybe I'll pop in a drag show to keep me distracted, but otherwise, no.
I'm working.
I have a ton of invitations, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm still thinking about it.
Are you going live tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, it's the 4th? Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, you just brought it up.
Damn. I thought it was Saturday was the 4th. I don't know why. It didn't even occur. I just thought it was on the weekend. I didn't even process it.
Next year it is.
Yeah, I think that we'll... Nutcracker, appreciate it for the 10. Thank you. I went to a party today. The DJ played Macarena, so I did the Macarena. Then he played YMCA, so I did the YMCA. Then he played Come On Eileen, so I was asked to leave. Somebody grab a towel. Nutcracker, appreciate it for the 10. Thank you. Appreciate it. Get Nutcracker. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Damn. Okay. Well, I guess I got to figure that out then. If I don't go live tomorrow, I'm going to go live on Sunday probably. Because of where it's at and where I'm going, and I won't be able to go live on Saturday. I mean, I could. I don't know. I got to talk to people.
We could run the dating show.
When?
Now?
No, I have to leave. I have to get off here at 8.
At 8?
I have to get off here at 8. Yeah. This is a kid. You're not coming in here. And then we got this guy. I got so much stuff to do.
Yellow?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What is going on? Are you debating?
No, I'm sorry for taking up your time. I know you're looking for debates. I'm a friendly, but I heard Josh talking about some of the Medicaid cuts in this big disastrous bill. And I kind of relate to you on some levels. I'm also on Social Security and Medicaid for a permanent disease and disability. So I really rely on, that for my medical costs and just, getting rent paid. And I see a lot of conflicting information, so I'm a little, I'm really nervous right now, and not just for me, but for my grandparents. They're on Medicaid, and so I don't know. Are there any specific details in the bill that you're familiar with that um, am I up on that list for cuts?
So the biggest things, so you know that, I mean, once a year we have to go back and requalify. We have to prove
Right.
that we're still disabled once a year. They're gonna knock that up to twice a year. So yeah, every 6 months you have to go in and be like, hey guys, my legs still don't fucking work. I still need, I mean, it's really it's ridiculous that you have to do it. So that's gonna be a change. Also, doctor visits that used to be free are now going to cost $35. I know that's insignificant to some, but to $35 is like 2 days worth of food to people on disability. So yeah, I mean it's the little things like that that are going to be. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to get around and make doctor's appointments when you're in a wheelchair. It's not the easiest thing to do, especially depending on your level of disability. But like they are literally making things harder, and if you don't keep up with it, you get kicked off. That's the end result.
I see. Yeah, something actually happened a little earlier this year, where I received paperwork for getting requalified for Social Security after I and I don't know. This is their way of just throwing a bunch of paperwork at me, hoping I don't fill it out, so they can get me kicked off.
Yeah.
The same thing happened with my SNAP benefits. Is I don't remember them telling me back in December that they would be doing another follow-up in 6 months, but apparently that's new because I just got kicked off about a month ago. Luckily, I got back on, but still, I never received any sort of notification that they kicked me off. I just went to go order groceries and it didn't work. So, yeah, okay, I can see how they want to create it.
And that could be like because you made $20 too much. It's silly. Like if they decrease the amount of money that is need to be made, and then all of a sudden your Social Security makes $100 a year too much, then you don't get $200 a month worth of food stamps because you make an extra $100 a year. I mean, it's like it doesn't equal out. It makes, and then they do other things like they fire people at the Social Security disability office, so there's nobody there to pick up the phone. So you literally don't have anybody to talk to when you need to apply for it. I mean, it's a multifaceted attack, is what it is.
And it's
But
already
hey,
a headache to get a hold of somebody at the office.
yeah, disability is a year and a half wait at minimum. At minimum, it takes a year and a half, and that's a year and a half that you don't have income. You're disabled. You can't work, but you also can't have because it hasn't gone through the systems. But anyway, I don't want to. I did look up Sharon. I looked up what I was talking about. The Big Beautiful Bill does not explicitly cut SNAP benefits solely because a household has internet access. However, it does include a provision that blocks a proposed revision to the standard utility allowance, which would have allowed SNAP to account for basic internet services as costs. So you used to be able to, so like when you're applying for SNAP, you have to tell them, these are my expenses. This is my insurance. This is my internet. This is my toothpaste. You have to go through all these expenses. And they're like, okay, you don't have enough left over for food. Now they're not allowed to include that internet cost within their applications. So that's
Okay.
how they're
Thanks for
saying that
clarifying.
Yeah, that's how they're saying. There's like I said, there's a little bit of truth. The left does it too. The left does the
Yeah.
little bit of truth wrapped around,
Yeah,
shit too.
yeah. I mean, I try to be as accurate as possible. You mess up, it happens. Especially when you're processing as much information as we currently see. But we do watch the left do that, and I'm not a fan of the sensationalism. Makes stuff bad.
Well, hey,
But the end result is people won't qualify for SNAP because they're not allowed to include, because internet is what, $125 a month if you're getting it for cheap. That's a good quality internet required for school and to run a computer, and you're no longer allowed to include that in your expenses. So $125 will literally prevent somebody from receiving food benefits.
Yeah. One thing too that a lot of people don't recognize is it's not just health care that people are going to lose. Medicaid funds rural nursing home facilities for like elderly people. Like it's going to shutter potentially the rural nursing homes, and I don't think people recognize that. Who's going to take care of Granny? Are they going to have to go get another job because now they're going to have to take in their elderly family member that was once it's going to have devastating ripple effects on so many people, and I just don't see how they can't see it, or they can see it and they just don't give a shit. The Republicans that voted for this, I mean, it's crazy. Man.
Hey, Tommy, thanks for having me up, and Josh, thank you for answering my questions.
No
Yeah,
problem.
no problems, man. Best of luck out there, man. Be safe.
Thank you, man. You too. Take care.
I appreciate you.
We are going to call it for the night. We will be back.
Alright.
We won't be on live tomorrow because I didn't know it was the 4th, but I'm going to be live on Sunday. I should be all caught up by the weekend and then have the stuff pumping back out. Make sure you guys sub on the way out, and I will see you Sunday.
Guess
Sounds
this is a
good.
federal
Safe.
job all of a sudden.
Huh? Might be a
This
morning
is a
live.
federal job all of a sudden.
It might be a morning live tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll
All right,
see.
man.
We'll see.
We'll see you guys later. Be safe.
Don't,
All right.
Take
don't
care.
lose any fingers, y'all.
Take care,
Before
guys.
I go, Kate, thank you for the Venmo. I appreciate you, Kate. And you're right. I should start doing lives, but I'm too chicken shit. Anyway, you guys take care. Be safe.
Good night, y'all.
All right. See ya. If you're on YouTube, sit around for 1 second. 1 second. Just a moment. Just sit around a second and watch. I'm gonna send you over to a video. See if you guys can watch it all the way through. Why is that not scheduling in there? Hold on. If you guys can go watch this video, I would appreciate it. It's not showing up. Everybody on TikTok, take care. I'll see you on Sunday. That's why it's not showing up. There we go. Oh, I didn't. There we go. Just a second, guys. I don't think it's going to work today. No. All right, I will see you guys on the next one. Everyone, take care.